Yeah, hi everybody. Ren here for another Ren on location, but a little bit more of a historical. Yeah, I've been kind of off track lately, so bear with me. Okay, writer David Allen for the Daily Bulletin talked about the old Miller's Outpost here here in Pomona and throughout other areas, but the one in Pomona I'm real familiar with since I grew up just 2 blocks away from it. And hold on, I'll put up a picture of it. Now, when I was growing up, before it was Miller's Outpost, it was something else. I'm not too sure it was Miller's something or other, but back then in its day, they still sold Levi's. And when you would walk in up in the ceiling, they had this huge pair of Levi's. I mean, it could easily fit like 3, 4 people in these Levi's. They were huge. And anyway, they sold like military stuff, like sea rations and little shovels and stuff like that. A lot of military stuff. And out in the parking lot, they would have like sales where they would bring all those out, like jackets, military jackets, pants from the Navy, Army, Marines, and like I said, they had sea rations. When we were kids, we used to go over there and grab a bunch of sea rations. They're really cheap. Go home and cook them up and stuff, and see what the soldiers had to eat, man. It was, yeah. But anyway, yeah. But like I said, they still sold Levi's in there, way in the back, and on the east side of the wall. That's where all the Levi's. I still remember where they kept them. And then the boots were on the south wall. And then over on the west side of the wall, they had all the shirts, like Pendletons. You all remember Pendletons used to be back then. So yeah, it's just like, seems like just yesterday that David Allen, he brought that up. All of a sudden, I started remembering all those good times there. Yeah, sales in the parking lot, and but anyway, right next to Miller's. There used to be an old laundromat there. Kind of remind me of a dungeon, because my folks would go there and do their wash, and it was dark and gloomy. It was kind of funky looking. Kind of reminded me of a dungeon of some sort. And then they turned it into a bar called the 49er Club, and they had a bunch of pool tables in there, at least 10 pool tables. And my brother and I would go in there and play pool. They let us go in there and play pool, in the evenings and stuff. And so anyway, yeah. And then later on, Miller's Outpost took over that building, and then they punched a hole in the wall, which is on the east side, and then they made it into a more sold clothes. I think it was more catered to the women. So yeah, but then later on, now they sealed it back up, and now it's some kind of little furniture store. Okay, yeah, so it was pretty interesting how Miller's changed and stuff. And does anybody else remember those huge Levi's used to hang from the rafters? Cool. And there was some people there from high school that used to work there also. But if you got any memories, man, please share them. I'd like to hear what you know about the old Miller's Outpost there. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next picture. Hey, okay, before I go any further, I just want to show you this. This is something my mom had. She grew up in Ontario. It's a Daily Bulletin, Daily Report, 50th anniversary, 1910 to 1960. Yeah, a badge, you pin on your shirt like that. But anyway, okay, moving on. Yeah, okay, the next picture is about this barber shop that sits right there. It used to be a barber shop, that little building. Yeah, for a lot of years, that was a barber shop, and later on it turned into a gun shop, and then now I don't know what it is now, but you see that brick wall right next to it? Now, we were kids back in the early 60s, we used to sit on that brick wall and watch everybody cruise back and forth, because Holt Blvd was a cruise spot back then. They used to go from Mel's, they used to be on the corner of Palomar's and Holt there, and then they'd cruise just about all the way over to Ontario and back to the A&W there. And there was an A&W just right on the other side of, right across the street from what is now the 99-cent store but it's some kind of hamburger joint now. So they were always cruising back and forth there Friday and Saturday nights, and we would sit up on top of that wall and hooper and holler, you know, all the nice cars and stuff going by, and yeah, a bunch of party animals back then, boy. But anyway, yeah, that was a little barber shop and a little brick wall there. We used to sit up there and watch everybody go back and forth on the weekends. Okay, let's get to the next picture. Okay, that building that says thrift store on it. Now, back in my day, that was a place where they used to sell stuff, hospital stuff like, or for people at home that needed like hospital equipment, beds, wheelchairs, that type of stuff to help them out. Now you can see it's a thrift store. Now the store right next to it, just west of it, that used to be a furniture store, and they used to sell some really fancy looking furniture, you know, high class stuff, you know. So, and but anyway, yeah, that was a store for people that were handicapped or they needed some kind of a hospital equipment at their home. So and now it's a thrift store. So anyway, okay, on to the next picture. Yes, Pomona Wine Cellar brings back a lot of memories. As a kid, we used to take our bottles there to cash them in. That side door you see next to the parking lot, we'd walk in there, and then alongside the wall there, he'd stack up all the bottles, and then we get our money, and of course, we buy candy. But anyway, yeah. And then just on the other side of the wine cellar there on the east side used to be a dry cleaning business. There for years, but I'm not sure what it is now. I think part of the pawn shop on the corner there probably owns that now. But back in the 60s, the wine cellar burned down. Went up like a matchstick. And for a while there, we didn't think they were going to rebuild it. But they ended up rebuilding it and everything, so we had a place to take our bottles to. But anyway, yeah, wine cellar. Man, like I said, it brings back a lot of memories. Okay, let's move on to the next picture. Okay, right on the corner, used to be Hamilton's drugstore. For many years, my folks would go over there and get their prescriptions filled out and stuff. And now, as you can see, it's a pawn shop. And yeah, great store. It was a fun store to go and check out and stuff and get whatever you needed. So anyway, hey, that's kind of a tour, a little bit of a tour of Holt Avenue there. That when I was growing up, and what? Hold on, I got one more picture I want to put up. Okay, I'll talk about this one. Almost forgot about it. Okay, Payless Shoe Store right there on Eleanor and Holt, right on the corner. There used to be this two-story Victorian house. Now there's one on Holt Avenue right before Dudley, further going down west. It looks just like the house that used to be there. You might have seen it. It's painted pink. But anyway, I had a friend of mine, his mom used to live there. There's a beautiful house inside. Ah, geez. Two-story Victorian. The eating area, the kitchen looked like you were sitting in a log cabin. You know, old wood and all that stuff. And us kids, we'd go up to the attic, and it was just filled with books, old books. David Allen, you'd have a field day in there. But yeah, filled, just stacked with. I think the lady that owned the house was a teacher at one time, and she just had the whole thing was filled with books. And then later on, college kids moved in, and then after that, after they moved out, they went ahead and tore the house down. I couldn't believe that they tore it down. But like I said, there's a house further west on Holt before you hit Dudley that looks just like the house that used to be on that corner. And I just shaking my head. My God, when's it going to end? And just recently, they had torn down another house on Holt Avenue, right past Hamilton. On the south side of the street was an old ranch house, but unfortunately couldn't save it, didn't have the money, so bulldozers came in and tore it down. But anyway, yeah, thought I'd just kind of give you a little more inside look about the story that David Allen talked about in his column there. David, thanks for writing that up. Brought back a lot of good memories. And I hope this video brought back a lot of good memories to you too. So if you got memories, well, let's share. You know, you can always write your comments down on the bottom and let me know about what you remember about Miller's Outpost or any other stores that should happen to be around across the street, or Pub and Taco, or any of that type of places. So anyway, well, like always, you take care, and take care of those ones you love. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.